Okay, everybody, here we go. You may hear noise because my kid's doing a little school thing upstairs now because the air quality is so bad. Anyway, I will try to speak loud and make this quick so it's not too distracting. So let me open up the week 4. Was open up and then Canvas did a weird thing. Okay, so our subject for the week is photosynthesis, and then the bigger subject is trees and a little citizen science also. So there's 2 soft chalks due by Thursday night. Just better understanding photosynthesis and how critical it is to our survival on the planet. Not just ours, but to survival in general, life on planet Earth. And then carbon cycle, which is a huge part of what photosynthesis is, capturing atmospheric carbon and then fixing it into a, like wood as one example, fixing it into living things, carbon-based life forms, and then also into soil carbon when those things decompose, and how the carbon cycle and global warming are really intricately linked together, and also why you shouldn't drive so much if your car, even if your car is an electric car, where does that electricity come from? But particularly if you're running on fossil fuel petroleum. Anyway, here's a better subject though, a little more cheery, is the urban forest. It may highlight some inequities in our neighborhoods, and that's definitely something to fight for and be aware of and work to eradicate. But urban trees have a huge impact, and actually I'm not going to open that up just because it ends up being so slow for y'all here. But there's some really cool videos about exactly some of the benefits of having urban trees. Really makes a huge difference. I know one of the things that drew us to the area that we live in Pasadena, when we first came here to look at this house, was that there's big old camphor trees lining the road, and it just made a whole feeling of like it's safe and it's sheltered and it's nice here. And there have been times when I've been driving through other parts of grander LA County, I can't even remember where, but just these huge expanses of homes with no trees, especially when it gets so hot here in the summer. Like that just sounds miserable. Of course, a big, huge old tree mostly takes a while to grow. So the best time to plant a tree was 10 or 15 years ago, but the second best time is now. In fact, fall is really an ideal time. You have to water it until it starts raining, but then it gets to its deep roots as the rains happen over the winter, and then it's easier to get it to establish. So if you get inspired to do any tree planting, it's something to think about doing in the late fall here. And then an assignment here for the trees in your neighborhood, which I think is a lovely assignment. I'm going to click on it, even though it'll be slow, just to go over some of the details. So that is due by Sunday night. And keep in mind that this requires you to go outside. Normally that's a really great thing to encourage people to do, but right now check Purple Air to see if your air quality index numbers are higher than 100. It's really not safe to be breathing outside. It's just bizarre and freaky. So if that's the case and we're just having terrible air quality, which is entirely possible, then I'll have to move this assignment, wiggle and jiggle it so that you don't have to be outside breathing terrible air just to do your assignment. But let's assume or pretend that it will be great outside. So in that case, find 5 trees, like walk your city block, and if you have weird shaped blocks or whatever, try to walk what you think is the equivalent of a city block and find 5 trees to measure. Now this is where the neighbors are going to think you're nuts, but that might be fun or it might be embarrassing, but either way, it's the assignment. Okay, so 5 trees, and you could also, like, if you don't have a fabric tape measure like that people use for sewing and stuff, you can just get a piece of fabric. You can tear up an old t-shirt and then use that to measure, and then you go use a meter stick or something to measure the length of the strip, So you're going to wrap your measuring tape, whatever it is, around that tree at DBH, which is 4.5 feet off the ground. And then there's a super handy dandy way here to figure out if it's not obvious what 4.5 feet off the ground is. That can be helpful. I know it also mentions using an app to measure. I don't know. I think that seems a little suspect, like you might get some really weird results, but if that's what you want to do, give it a try. Measure diameter breast height of those 5 trees, and then you come up with an average DBH, and then you look on here to see about how much carbon is being sequestered by those trees every year. It's kind of a cool thing to know. And then step 4, determine the tree canopy cover for your neighborhood. So Healthy Places Index right over here. So first, you want to go to the view indicators on the left, and then neighborhood options down here, tree canopy, okay? And then you're going to enter yours, like we'll put in PCC up here. Aha, PCC Science Village, where I wish we were right now having class. And then I know I've got this screen here, which makes it a little awkward. Let's see if we can move that. Yep, okay. So Science Village is a light green, but we want to get a little bit more detail here. There's the track, right? So it's not 70, it's in the 73rd percentile, but the canopy cover is a value of 8.27. And I think that that is explained pretty clearly right in here. The number in parentheses is the percent canopy cover, so 8.27% coverage by trees in and around the Science Village. And I mean, if you also check that, the Healthy Places Index has some really cool data about neighborhoods, so it might be kind of interesting to check yours and see how things compare. I bet, and I think we may do this a little bit later on, if you compared economic strata of neighborhoods and tree canopy cover, I suspect there may be a correlation between big old healthy trees providing wonderful shade, reducing people's air conditioning needs, and all kinds of other benefits with higher income. But tree planting is something anybody could do. So anyway, there we go. So there's another little screencast there. Probably Dr. Blickley made that. And then specifics about how to submit your assignments there. And then we are going to hop back to the modules spot. And we're going to talk about the next things that are due, which I think are due a little bit later on. Oh, no, there's the tree survey, which we talked about, is due on Sunday, along with a Meet a Scientist assignment. I mean, it's due by Sunday. Don't wait until Sunday to do it. Like, you can get it done now. Certainly, you can get this done anytime. You can get this done as soon as you're done with the content here. So Get to Know a Scientist has you read an abstract of a paper that she wrote looking at the impact of solar panels in the desert on the local biota, the plants that grow there, and their services to the ecosystem and how it impacts them. And then you write a 300-word summary of that, submit it to Turnitin.com, make sure there's no funny business there. And this is somebody who's a product of the community college system, who then went on to Cal State Fullerton to get a master's degree, UCLA, I think, for undergrad degree, master's at Cal State Fullerton, and then I think it was UC Davis for her PhD. Regular old quiz right there. Okay, and then I think this is the more fun part. You might be horrified by it, I don't know. A storyboard. So I added the word focal species just to make it obvious. This is related to the previous project you did, where you had a focal species in your group, like you were the insect group, and you chose the Morpho blue butterfly, or whatever it was that you chose. So now you're going to make a video right here about that species. So before you make the video, then you make this storyboard, which is basically, I think they do this in the entertainment industry too, where you have highlights about what you're going to talk about on each, as you go through, and then what image will be shown. Like, you're not actually filming video, you're putting still images, photographs, and then your voice speaking as the photographs are shown. So here's where you do the storyboard, where you plan it out, what you will be saying, like bullet point list, as well as what images you'll show. And then this is where you actually get into a little bit more of the video editing, which is going to be interesting because I'm supposed to help you with this, and I've never done it before, but we'll figure it out together. And then you make comments on each other's videos. So if you're like, oh my God, how am I going to do that? This is not due until next Thursday. And then making comments on at least 2 other people's videos isn't even due till the following Sunday. So this is a little bit longer term because it's going to take a little bit more time. So don't be like, oh cool, it's not due till next Thursday. I'll wait to start it till next Wednesday, because that's not the reason why it's a longer extended due date. It's going to take you a while. Okay, so hopefully this will be helpful. Anyway, just please plan for these due dates, right? If you're going through the modules, you can see what the due dates are, On the home page, you know, I always have both of them open so I see what it is I need to do, because the home page of the course will have upcoming due dates listed on the right side. For me, it's grading. For you, it's homework assignments that are due, homework, whatever, assignments that are due. And then having the modules page open is where you want to actually move through the assignments, because it leads you from one to the next to the next in the order that they were designed in. Okay, good luck. I hope, here we go. Hope the air quality improves for all of us. And if it doesn't, you know, just move on to the next assignments and hear from me. Wait to hear from me about what to do. Bye.